Thank you so much for doing this. I'm so excited to be with you. You're the most measured person in history, and you've also decreased your biological age by 5 years. What's something that you're doing now that everyone in the future will do?
You know, I think we cheapen life quite a bit. When death is inevitable, we quickly YOLO our way to decisions where it's like slow boil suicide, where you can, in the context of like live a little, which it could mean like have a fast food meal or stay up late or drink alcohol or whatever the thing is of that day, you can put it in this narrative structure where it makes sense that you're living life, you're sensory full, but it's actually, I think it will be viewed as very weird in the future that we so eagerly engaged in these behavioral practices that we're legitimately shortening our lives and making us less happy. And so this whole narrative we have in place today that justifies these behaviors, because in reality, let's be honest, people are addicted to their vices.
Yep.
Being honest about that is brutal and unpleasant. And it's so much easier than to have a very pleasant storytelling thing. So I think the future will look back and be like, that was an insane period of existence where people did that and they celebrated doing these things.
100%. And like you're the outlier for caring about your health or tracking your data or whatever. Do you feel that same way about tech, like social media or just like the fact that we're always connected, or are you pro that?
So every day I do a meditation. I try to travel in time to the 25th century. I try to embody to the best of my imagination what it would be like to be in unfathomably expanded reality.
Okay.
And how that would contrast with our moment in time. So what seems possible is once you get to a certain point of technological progress, of intelligence,
Yep.
the only thing you care about is entropy. You could almost say like, you know, capitalism and like all the games we play today are just games of mortals, and going after entropy is a game of gods. Like when you elevate yourself to a point where you're playing at the grandest of scale of intelligence and possibility, which is where we're at now as a species. Like we're moving there.
Yep.
It's here. And so I don't think that we've really internalized what game we're playing in the moment we're in and what it is going to allow us to do. So I think the future is going to be basically you're just going after entropy. Like low level entropy is like, how do you stop the body from aging?
Yep.
Then you've got higher level things like a risk of like an asteroid or like super volcanoes or like, you know, eventually like the heat death of the universe. Like you basically take on different orders of complexity.
Based on how long you're around.
Exactly. But this is like the cool kind of stuff. Like this would have been laughable even 10 years ago to have this imagination that you could speak about these things in some serious manner. And actually we can now. It's actually pretty remarkable.
Do you think it's because of AI, or are there other innovations in technology that makes you feel like we could eventually live forever?
Mostly AI, but also we've demonstrated we now have sysadmin access to the building blocks of reality. So we can engineer atoms, we can engineer biology, cells, systems. We can engineer digital reality, software, computer code. We can engineer intelligence. So we have all the layers of the stack. Now we may find that we need access to like dark energy, for example, like, you know, for example, but like we really have a strong starting point that of the layers that constitute our existence, we have basic engineering abilities where we can modify and build matter in all forms and fashion. That just changes the game on what we think is possible. So I think we're there.
It's interesting that you're saying that this week because China just revealed this stem cell research that was amazing, where they cured someone of type 1 diabetes. And it feels like there's a quote that I think about a lot, which is things happen slowly and then all at once. And I think the negative side of that you've talked about is cognitive decline, where you won't know until things are really bad that your brain has declined. But then the positive side of that is we've been working on stem cell research forever, and now we're finally experiencing innovation. I know that you tried stem cell research for your joints. Where do you think that part of science goes? Like, what are we actually going to use that for?
Yeah, so that was amazing. It was a 25-year-old female used her own cells. So they took her stem cells, took them out, we programmed them and put them back in. That's amazing.
Unreal.
That's why I think I'm bullish in this moment. I don't think we need to see the exact solutions on what exactly is going to work. The future does not need to be painfully obvious to have hope.
I love that.
You just simply need to have like these basic pattern matching skills to say, okay, so we can actually assemble molecular structures atom by atom, check. We can program biology, check. You know, like our intelligence is increasing at some unfathomable rate, check. Given these things, like you can say it's possible that we will be able to do things we can't even imagine in the very near future. And also, obviously, the things we can imagine, which takes some stem cells, we program them, put them back in, and it solves the disease. So it really hurts individually. Like it feels like we're in the coolest moment in human history.
Agree.
And we are so caught up in our daily affairs and self-debauchery and wars and violence and like fighting with each other.
We're missing the opportunity.
Yeah, and it just pains me that 4 billion years to get to this point, it's this moment and we're kind of oblivious to it.
Agree. And I think one of the things that you talk about a lot is reading biographies of people that were misunderstood. Like one of your books that I'm actually reading now because of you is The Problem of Zero, where like didn't exist, and that's so fundamental to society. I think that we could be in one of those moments again with health. We see brands like Whoop become multi-billion-dollar companies. It feels like people are taking their health more seriously now. How are you using wearables to track your health, and like what data do you actually look at?
I think of my body like a high frequency trading stock market.
Okay, I like that analogy.
You've got a system of data, you've got buy, sell, then you've got this whole system. And so the value is learning about something and then making your intervention choice. You're gonna buy or sell.
I love that. Whoa, okay.
So my body's the same, right? I'm 35 trillion cells plus a microbiome, and I have all these interactions, these transactions happening inside of me. And then I've got interventions doing buy and sell. And so we've basically have tried to build an automated stock market. So you take all the measurement, you feed it into the algorithm, and it does its thing. Basically say like my mind is not the proper tool to decide what to do. It's my body's data paired with science and analysis that can decide better than me. So,
and is the Whoop the main tracker for that? Like I know you track your sleep on Whoop, but you're also doing extensive like organ age tracking.
Yeah. I don't know what the number is. We probably generate something like 1,000 data points a month.
Okay. I actually feel like that's lower than I expected because you're doing basically a new clinical trial like every day, right? Like you're trying out new health experiments.
Yeah. So yesterday I did a microplastics test.
Okay.
I did DNA methylation, looking at whole body organ ages plus speed of aging. I did a microbiome test.
Do you know what your updated speed of aging was?
0.64.
Yeah, so you basically get an extra 4 months a year?
Yeah, my birthday is every 19 months.
Let's go. Love that. I feel like a lot of people are pretty bought in on the wearable, and maybe they'll stop like drinking alcohol or they'll get a little bit more sleep. Two fundamentals. I'm 22.
Yeah.
My parents are like young, they're in their 50s and 60s. Is there differing health advice that you would give both age groups? A lot of the audience is in their 20s. What advice would you give like that age group and then slightly older, like our parents?
The general idea is that people want to go after personalization. That's certainly true. I want to swing back to the other side and say we have so much more in common than we think. Gender and age. That basically everybody should be making sleep their number one priority. Now, when you're older, it's harder to get good sleep. So you have to work harder to get good sleep. Yeah. When you're younger, you just take it for granted that you just naturally have good sleep.
Like meaning like when you go to bed, your body just stays asleep and then that gets harder over time? Yeah. Wow, interesting. Yeah, because I sleep right away.
Yeah, as you get older, it becomes harder and your sleep quality goes down. Everyone benefits from great sleep. Everybody benefits from exercise. Everybody benefits from diet. And so like, yes, there's nuances of those two things, but as a society, we're still struggling on the basics. Like even like the basic idea, our bad health practice is bad. It's not even clear there's consensus on that because people will say that's living life. So when you're at that level of societal agreement, it's best instead of to say like, well, at this age, you need this number of grams of protein versus that age. Yeah. It's much better to go and say, actually, just a society that prioritizes health is a really nice starting point.
Totally agree. And I was talking to a friend about this recently. Like when you're traveling, you're kind of at like the mercy a little bit more of like the conditions in a public place. And right now society is really set up to not be healthy. Like there's seed oils everywhere, there's added sugar. What do you do? Because you're on the road a lot now doing the Don't Die Summits. Yeah. How do you kind of control your environment to make sure that you're keeping your healthy habits even when you're on the road?
So I knew the food system was toxic before I started all my health work a couple years ago. But last month alone, for example, we spent, my company, we're building health products. Yes. We spent $50,000 on testing. And so for example, like each test costs like $175. Okay. So we're testing everything, including our own stuff and plus other people's products. Okay. And so I just want to be sober in this moment. And I want to be a good friend to everybody. And I want to relay that now having spent this enormous amount of money testing products in the market, I'm terrified of food.
Oh no.
Yes.
Okay, tell me what you've seen.
Yeah, it's so dirty. And so even things like we just created a matcha product. Okay. But in looking at 6 different vendors of matcha, we found 5 of them were very, very high in heavy metals. But we don't think of matcha as at risk,
No.
right? Like we just think, oh, matcha like gets a pass because it's clean.
Yeah, people call it like the health drink.
Exactly. So you don't have any kind of filter to think like, do I think this matcha has a complicated situation? It is true.
Okay.
Or something like lentils, where we have a lentils product. We tested lentils from all over the world. They're dangerously high in heavy metals.
Wow.
And so, like, for example, one vendor came back and they were so high, we're like, we don't understand this. We understand that like cocoa naturally has heavy metals. We get it. But lentils, we don't get it. And they're like, oh, that's because we fertilize with human sludge.
Oh my God, what does that even mean?
Yeah, so we're like, okay, tell us more, please. Like, do you have a non-human sludge version for us?
Basic.
Right? Yeah, so like, we've just learned this across the entire food supply chain. And so now, like previously I could go to a health store like Erewhon or Whole Foods and think, okay, somehow I'm in a healthier place than some chain, and I'm in the healthy food aisles. Like these healthy snacks must have some kind of some kind of like quality system where they're helping me consume. Not true. So and so here's the good news. So, and this is not a pitch for my company. This is just like what we've tried to do. We have created a series of food products
called Blueprint.
Yeah, called Blueprint.
Okay.
They are, as far as we can tell, the cleanest in the world. So based on the best science and the best most clinical studies and clinical grade doses, plus we published the actual lab results of what it is. You can go out, like viewer, you can go out and do your own thing. Like go buy your own food, go find your own supply. Cool. Also, we made it dead simple, but I'm passing this along of like, we have a very big problem in the world. Food is very toxic. And it's been a very interesting learning process to see the underbelly of food.
Yeah, I think you have an interesting perspective because you were in tech for the first part of your career. And I feel like the way that you went about getting people convinced to use your product. So first job ever, credit card salesman, you go into stores and you say to people, hey, I will give you $100 if you don't like this 3-minute pitch.
Yeah.
Because obviously the second you go into a store, people are icked out by a salesman. What's like the version of that for health? Like what's like an undeniable offer you can make right now where people are hearing this and they're just like, this is a reality. How do you convince them?
If somebody wants to be healthy, from that moment where they say, I want to be healthy, to achieving good health is so complicated, where you have to then say like, do I need to go out and get other opinions? And so then you go out and you hear everyone has a different opinion. Then you're like, damn, who do I trust?
Yeah.
And then when you go out even a step further, you're trying to say, what should I do? And then you see all the disagreements and all the different options you have. So it creates paralysis. So from the moment the person's like, yeah, I'm gonna get healthy, then it kind of goes into this paralysis mode where they're like, I don't know, it seems too complicated. So what we've tried to do is we've tried to build the best healthcare stack in the entire world.
Okay.
So if you say yes to health, we have all your food for you, every calorie. We have every test for you. So we'll do blood and whole body imaging, microplastics, and your speed of aging.
And that's new, right?
Yeah, we'll do it actually in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So we want to basically say, we'll take care of you, and we're going to ensure that it's doing what you want it to do in your body with measurement.
What data do you mainly look at? Like I know HRV and sleep is a big one, but what other data points?
You can do a basic blood panel. Ours will be around $250 for basic. Basic markers like cholesterol and stuff you're familiar with. Then we have an advanced panel that does more stuff. Okay. Then you can we have a brand new microplastics test.
That one's a big one.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my whole team just did it.
Oh no, were the results good or?
It was mixed. Yeah.
It's kind of everywhere.
It's everywhere. Like for example, some people are like, oh no, but I buy my food at the farmer's market. What they don't realize is that food has been watered by irrigation water or groundwater, which has microplastics. It's like, you can't avoid it. Like there's no way in society to move away from it. Interestingly, I had the lowest level of microplastics of the whole team.
I feel like that tracks with your lifestyle.
Like I've been microplastics aware a little bit, but not extensively. And so we're not sure exactly why my levels were so low.
So I think a lot of people probably eat like restaurant food at times or do other things that you don't do.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, certainly but on my team, like my team is pretty good at health.
Yeah, true. Have you thought about what happened with 23andMe where they may be selling the data? Like when you're creating a product like this, how do you ensure privacy?
Yep. For privacy is like, for our customers, it's probably like the 10th least important thing.
Whoa, interesting.
Yeah, like it's because like we're not selling data. Our business is not data. our business is their health markers.
Yeah.
Whereas 23andMe, their entire business was your data, like selling your data.
And now they may sell it to a third-party company.
Exactly. Like, so their entire premise was that. Whereas like we're just not a data selling company.
Okay, so flash forward 30 years. If you could talk to future you, what would you hope they say about the way that society is set up?
Well, first, everybody in society would have perfect health.
Love that.
And it would just be automatic. The idea is anybody can drink tap water and you're not going to die.
Yeah.
Now, that's not entirely true in the US, right? Even in the US, like let alone in the world. But society has done a decent job of basic sanitation where, generally speaking, we do have clean water in most places.
Yeah.
But basically, the level of automation just makes perfect health something we just don't even think about anymore. Like, we don't have to work for it. We don't have to think about it. It just is. And everyone has bought into it, that it's much more valuable to play other games in existence than like this whole health thing.
Yeah. And I feel like you're doing the work now so we can have that in the future.
Yes, that's the goal. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you.
Yeah,
Great
thanks.
to meet you.